Whoa, man, that was love for a second. Welcome everybody to the Sports Lounge with Mark and Mike. We got our boy Dice Wheel on here as always. We want to thank you guys for hopping on here with us. We're looking forward to tonight's show. We know it's a little later than normal. My apologies to that. Life has been a little hectic for myself. But I will say this. I just want to thank you guys that have been following. We are now over 2,000 followers on Instagram. Also, those that are following us on Facebook and YouTube and everything like that. Just continue to share, like, and subscribe. We appreciate that. We also want to give thanks to our sponsors at Black NP Living Water. Just type in blacknp.com and enter the promo code The Sports Lounge and receive 35% off your order. Right now. And then on top of that, we also have Cali Built Graphics, who takes care of all of our shirt designs, all of our hats. I mean, everything you can think of, including decals, whatever you need embroidered. They are the people here in Tulare. And last but not least, one of the most important, number one sports fan. Definitely one of my favorite places. I know Mikey himself, he actually spent some time working there, so he has a very good relationship with them. But they have their locations in Tulare, Visalia, and Hanford. Don't forget to hit them up, because I tell you what, guys, they got all the NFL draft day hats, which that is what we're going to be starting to talk about here in the next couple of weeks, because draft day is upon us. So going into tonight, we are going to be spending time. Obviously, we have just finished up the college basketball season. We saw UConn win the men's, and we saw South Carolina win the women's, and we are going to start off with the women's with that aspect. What did you guys get from the women's game?
Yeah, I'll start it by saying most people weren't too excited about that game. I was actually a little more excited this year than I've ever been for women's basketball, as it's continued to trend more and more. Kobe was trying to get that going, to get the women's side a little bit more pumped up, a little bit more viewership. They did hit all-time records a couple of times with viewership, which just tells me that their women's basketball is on the right track. For me, I spent some time coaching both sides, men's and women's basketball, and to see both of them flourishing is great. I believe that women's basketball is going to get better and better. I was excited to see the game. I was excited to see what Clayton Clark can do, but not only that, to see what players that she's going to have, because she's going to have her handful dealing with South Carolina. Here's the biggest thing that stuck out to me in that game. Clayton Clark ended the game with 30 points. She was 10 for 28, and then 5 for 6 at the field goal. The highest scorer for South Carolina was actually Tessa Johnson. And anybody who knows Johnson was a freshman. She's a freshman player. She only had 19 points.
Yeah.
She had 19 points, 7 for 11, and she was 2 for 2 at the free throw line. What is that telling you? The biggest stat of the whole entire game was that South Carolina played 9 players. Every single player scored. Their bench scored 37 of their 87 points. 37 of their 87 points. Do you know how many points did the Iowa bench score?
Zero.
Nothing.
Yeah, they did nada.
They didn't help. And I
told not just that, you guys. I mean, you're talking about they took only the bench players from Iowa. They only took 3 field goal attempts and only played in 18 minutes combined in the entire game. That just shows you like what's going to happen. I mean, Iowa, you got to remember, Iowa won national title last year, beating South Carolina.
Yeah,
they got the revenge this year. So to me, I think that's what made it a little good, a good story. But yeah, I'm sorry, Mike. I got a little excited with that whole 3 field goal things for a bench. Go ahead, continue. Sorry about that, brother.
Oh no, you're good. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I said this before. On the last one, I said that South Carolina is deep. I said they're going to play 8-9 players, and it's going to be on Iowa to stopping that bench and who off of Iowa is going to help her out. Kane Clark. I said she can score 40 the last game, but she's going to have to score way more than 40 the next game, if you guys remember what I said. So she's going to have to score more than 40 because she's not going to get help. And I just felt that there was two ways that Iowa could have won that game. Number one, Taylor Clark would have had a historic game by having like a 60-point game. Or two, the referees did what they did on the last game when they played against UConn and just kill them with – I mean, UConn was in foul trouble in the first half. And then that bull crap call at the end, I mean, I know a call's a call, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think about that. My thought process was they went to the right player – to the right team. And the right team won the game. They won in the right way. Clayton Clark got her pocket picked, I think, 2 or 3 times. And that was the girl that they tweeted about last year that they wanted to face up against. She wanted to face up against again to get her revenge because they were talking so much crap about her getting smoked from Clark last year. And she picked her pocket 3 times. And I don't know her stats, but I guarantee you she scored a lot. Not a lot.
That was
Raven didn't really score that much, but what it was her defense. She stopped her at least all 4 times once she got on her in the second half. And she got most of all the rebounds. Their team had 33 rebounds to their 20-something rebounds defensively. So that was really key in that game.
Yeah, so with because the person that was guarding it was Raven Johnson. Yeah. She ended up playing 30. She actually had the most minutes played for South Carolina at 37 minutes. So that was a big thing for me, and I was just like, "Yo, what do we got going on?" And it was pretty funny because with that happening, you're talking about she only shot. Seriously, she shot 1 for 11 from the field. She had 3 points. That was it.
Yeah. It was all about her defense.
Raven Johnson, that's who was guarding Caitlin Clark. But she had 4 steals in the game with 2 blocks. But she only had 3 points. I'm just like, it was, Dice, you're nailing it dead on the head. It was about her D. Her defense showed up and showed out. At the end of the day, and I think to me, just imagine it. Because Raven Johnson's not a big point scorer. She only averages 8.1. I think it's like 8.1 or, it's barely over 8 points a game. She is not a scorer. She is a defender. That is what she's in there for, and yeah, with her, obviously losing the national title and Caitlin Clark going off last year. Well, guess what? Raven Johnson, you got your revenge. And the big thing for me at the end of the game was when she got picked once again, which gave her 4th steal against Caitlin Clark. So that was a big thing. And so what else did you get from it, Dice?
Well, because with that game, like they were saying that they had came out, Iowa came out swinging with 18 points, but once they put Raven on her, she was down to 12 points then and there. So that's the only reason why she only scored 30 points. So they were more in depth when it came to it with South Carolina. Everybody was all playing, and they lost a lot of players last year to where they had a whole new team and still was able to go undefeated the whole year.
Right.
The other thing I think is going to be crazy is Ben Liff. She entered the transfer portal. And I'm wondering if she's going to end up over there in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She did do that.
I don't think she's going to end up in South Carolina. Unless if she has roots there, I don't see her going to South Carolina. I really don't.
She's gonna go somewhere because she's chasing a ring. She's gonna go somewhere where she's gonna win a ring. So she's either gonna go to UConn, she's gonna go to South Carolina, or she's gonna go to Iowa because Iowa lost, Clark. So,
yeah, because he's going into the draft.
If she goes in, or she could go to SC, she could go to USC. USC is another team. I doubt that she'll go to Tennessee.
I don't know if she'll go to Tennessee.
I'm just saying.
She was a
The
man.
projected number 3 pick in the WNBA is out of Tennessee. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
The women's program, they've always had the history.
Yeah, they've had a good history.
One of the things that got me, you guys, is a lot of people were that I would talk to. They were just like, I can't believe they went undefeated, blah 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 blah. And of course I get told, I actually was, talking to people, and somebody's like, I was like, man, you're all making a big deal about going undefeated in women's basketball. I said, don't get me wrong, undefeated is amazing. It really is. But it has been done, realistically, 7 times since 1981. So you have, what is that, 43 years?
Yeah.
It's been done, 7 times. Now, let me tell you this. You want to know what's amazing? One of the first teams to ever do it, honestly, yes, is Tennessee. They were actually the second team to ever do it. But the amazing part was UConn basketball. Coach Gino Ariam, I can't even say his net,
His last
Greek
name's
dude.
hard to say. Don't even try.
Yeah. I just call him Coach Gino. He deserves that respect. He went, this is no joke, undefeated 3 consecutive seasons. They won, UConn won back in the day. They won 3 national titles consecutively, going 39-0 in each of the seasons. Guys, 39-0. That is 117-0. So don't come at me with this, South Carolina's 36-0. I'm sorry. I am a diehard Tennessee Volunteer fan, but I got respect for Coach Gino. 117-0. That's not including what he took that finished the season before, plus the season after. If I remember correct, it was something like 129 or 139 consecutive wins. I mean, just an amazing feat. So don't come at me with this. But like I said, 7 times since 1980. No, I'm sorry. It was 9 times. 9 times since 1981. Caitlin Clark played a good game, but to me, I saw a player that was starting to be a sore loser. She was getting upset because she wasn't getting the calls like she wanted. She's like, I'm the superstar. I'm the record holder. Mikey and I, we talked about this on the phone. It's like everyone's making a big deal. What's everyone making a big deal? I don't understand. And they were talking about it. She has this extra year eligibility because of COVID. And that is correct, ladies and gentlemen. Caitlin Clark had 6 years in college basketball to break the career records. She had an entire extra season because of the 2020 season. They gave everyone an extra year of eligibility. So to me, do I give her props for the fact being that she had seasonal records? 100%. Deserves the recognition. But the career ones, I'm sorry. You do not deserve the career ones just because you had an extra season. I make the same argument. Mikey is, he is a LeBron guy. That's his generation. Compared to my generation, obviously, I always say it's Jordan. We've had those conversations. Jordan played 16 seasons. LeBron is now on season 22. Of course, you're going to have more points. Of course, you're going to have more records. You've played 6 extra stinking seasons. Apples to apples, when you look at the stats, comparing Jordan, and LeBron in that way, it's the same concept of comparing Lisa Leslie, with some of the greats. Cheryl Swoops, Candace Parker, Lisa Loeb, those were greats, and they played 4 years. And they had to play overseas. Caitlin Clark now has the WNBA. Some people are actually trying to say, should she play there? Because I know Ice Cube has offered her $5 million to go play in the Big Three.
Right.
Which would still allow her to actually still play in the WNBA. I'm like, no offense, $5 million? Why not? Whatever. All you're going to do is shoot from freaking 3-land all day long. It's not like you're driving to the ball. So I give her respect for her certain aspects, but the career ones, I'm sorry. When you play extra time, you don't get the credit. Not with me. That's my personal opinion. Like I said, again, props to South Carolina. Congratulations to Dawn Staley to not only winning as a player, but also winning a national title as a coach. and I give her credit when it comes to the fact is that she paid respects to Caitlin Clark and thanked her for, helping bring more attention to it. Certain things I didn't agree with, with what she shared, but, that's just me personally. But when it comes to the game itself, for me, South Carolina, who stood out for South Carolina was Cardozo, and it wasn't the fact is that, yeah, she had 15 points, but she had 17 boards. She was a rebound machine. So I give credit to South Carolina, and all that thing. But Caitlin Clark, her legacy of the 3-point competition, going against Steph Curry this year in the All-Star game, everything like that, man, they deserve the credit. WNBA, they're ballers. They know how to play. I guarantee it. They'll smoke me any day of the week. But it's just one of those things where I've just looked at. It's like, give recognition where it's deserved, not where it's warrant. It's like, oh, this, she's doing this. Well, at the end of the day, you call yourself the best in the league. Caitlin Clark said, flat out said, what was her name from LSU? Angel Reese.
Angel Reese.
She actually stated after they played LSU, and she said, Angel Reese is not on my level. This other person is not on my level. So-and-so is not on my level. Well, you know what? Caitlin Clark, you might have won a national title this year. But I will tell you this. You were not on the same level as Coach Staley. You were not on the level as the South Carolina players because you did not win a national title this year after breaking all those records.
She's not even on the level of Reese if she didn't win a ring.
That's exactly.
So, I mean, you can see all the levels you want until you win a chip. But let's move on to the men's. We got a couple more minutes. Men's, we got Purdue versus UConn. UConn took it. What are some takeaways from that one?
Dice, what you got on that one?
But yeah, I did see the same thing I saw from the other game, which is it was more depth when it came to UConn. Purdue was really holding on their center, being that he was 7'4" and being like basically a new Yao Ming, but for college. But they just have way more ways to get around that and get more scores.
100%. I agree with you, Dice. UConn only had 13 points from the bench. Their players actually, I want to say, only played not even 24 minutes, very little time. It was mostly players to get a breather. The starters were running pretty much the entire game. Newton, he balled out, scoring 20. To me, UConn, it wasn't about the depth. To me, it was about the able to spread the ball.
Right.
When you look at the points scored, and I'm actually looking at it right now, starters scored 5, 11, 15, 20, and 11. Then they had Diarra off the bench, had 13 minutes in the game. He had 9. And then you had also Johnson, the forward. He had 5 minutes in the game. He had 4. Only one person, which was the guard, Spencer, he had 8 rebounds. Nobody else had above 6. Assist-wise went to Newton, was 7. The next closest person was 4. So for me, and foul trouble, they had, Klingon had foul trouble, and at 4 fouls. Johnson did foul out, but he was just a bench player anyway. And so I saw it was about spreading the ball, sharing the ball with your team. When it comes to Purdue, it dead on the head. Dice, Eddie, 39 minutes, 37 points, 15 of 25 from field goals, 7 of 10 from the free throw. He had 10 boards. Definitely there was not as many fouls called in this game as there was in the last game.
Yeah.
Definitely not shoot, the Tennessee game against Purdue, that foul, that was ridiculous. But you had only 33 fouls combined. Eddie being 7'4", he is, I agree with you. He is basically the next version of I wouldn't say a Yao Ming. I actually think he's more of a style player like a Shaq, because you got 7'4", 300 plus pounds.
Right.
So you got a guy that's bodying up and things like that. You're not, but the guy can actually shoot a free throw. No offense to Shaq, but he can shoot a free throw. But to me, when you rely on one player, I mean, your next scorer was 12 points.
Right.
Eddie scored 37 out of 60. You ain't going to win nothing. All you got to do is double team the guy all day long.
Exactly. When you rely on that, then you had no one else really scoring. And that's what happened with that game.
Exactly. What did you have from it, Mikey?
So I had a different perspective. Those minutes that Johnson did play, I think wore down, as Paul Pierce was saying. I think he was a difference maker, wearing down Eddie. And I think that the opposite way, Purdue didn't produce with everybody else because everybody else was cold. I mean, if they keep center and never really spread the ball around and give opportunities for other people to heat up, I think they relied too much on the big that they lost the game, and it was by 15 points. I know you guys believe, I heard a Yao Ming, I heard a Shaq, I don't think when he gets to the league, I think he's better. I think he's a great big for college basketball, but the way that NBA has been transforming, I just don't see him dominating in the NBA. I think he'll be an average player. I don't think he'll be anything spectacular. But maybe a Porzingis, does his job, does what he needs to do, not too much, comes out the game and he's good, right? I don't see him as a Shaq or a Yao Ming or a Giannis or Embiid or any of those guys. I definitely know for a fact that he will never ever live up to those expectations, but I think he's an average player. He'll get significant time and he'll do his job. And
who I honestly think when I give the reference of Shaq, that's because of his stature. 7'4", 300 plus pounds. That's a big boy. That's you don't see that right now. I mean, who do you got? Chet Holmgren, 6'10", like $125 soaking wet. Like, to be honest, I mean, dude, people are sticks right now. People don't understand. It's like, yo, y'all can eat something.
It's only Joel and Giannis that are really like the biggest ones.
Well, Giannis is not even big, and Giannis is not even it's not like he's a center. Joel's a center. The person to me, the game style is, and I think you're like, I see him as he can contribute. You know who he reminds me of, honestly, his style of play, not because of his size, but the style of play for a big, Bam Adebayo.
Not even Bam.
You don't think Bam? I can see, a guy who can body up. Bam can body just like Eddie, but he can go out and he can take a jumper and he can shoot decent free throws, stuff like that. I mean,
Bam is super athletic to bring up the ball, though.
But I'm talking about style. I'm not talking about handles. I'm talking about style.
That's part of his style.
It's more like I can see more like a Mark Gasol, not Paul, but more like how Mark played with the Grizzlies.
I would go more Paul than Mark. Mark was more of he'll take you from outside as well.
Yeah.
Paul was more of a banger in the inside, maybe like a Tim Duncan. But
there you go. That's a good comparison.
Like Tim Duncan was more of that, wants to play off the block. But even then, Tim Duncan knew what to do when he got
there.
Yeah.
Like he had the IQ of a big man where he could take it off the block and he knows what to do with it. I don't think that he'll ever get there. I don't think Eddie
think Eddie will ever get there?
I don't think
I think it all depends on who he goes to, though. Coach wise, like if he was to go to the Spurs, maybe he could get there. But that all depends if they get off of Wembyama and try to make Eddie like that, though.
For me, I just don't like. Again, I get what you're saying. He's 7'4", big body.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just not. I tell you this, he'll be good for 3 years, 4 years, but I want to see what he looks like in year 5 when I
think that's where he's
off Rippy's because of his, of course.
Well, because of his size.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. Is
five, his body's going to break down.
Yeah, Tim Duncan never did though. He never did. Tim Duncan knew what to do, even at his lowest point in playing basketball, at his oldest point in playing basketball. He still knew what to do. I just don't think this guy's ever going to get there. I think this guy's is going to be an average player, probably give you 13 points and a shit ton of rebounds, but I just don't think because the way that the NBA is moving, more fast paced. You have to think on the fly. You have to go. Like, we want to get rid of the ball now, and he's more of a slow thinker. He grabs the ball and just the simple things. So the up and unders. Watch him when he does. Go back to the film and watch him when he does the up and unders. He's like here. He goes here. He comes around, and then he goes up and under. There's no way in the NBA you get away with that. The Beverly will pick your pocket.
Yeah.
Before you.
Yeah, I got it.
Did it went at the door?
Yeah, I got it.
When he came yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can understand.
Sorry,
I can understand what you're saying. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. He still does have 1 year left. I know he's right now trying to fight because he has 2 years left because he's a senior.
Oh yeah,
no.
Is he?
I'm sorry. We got 2 minutes. Y'all. Let's finish.
So long story short, I know Eddie's fighting, for an NIL deal right now because he's here on a visa, a student visa. So he's like, I'm losing millions of dollars. So I can see him going, but I want to finish the note with this. One of the big things that I see, and this is it. John Calipari is leaving University of Kentucky after 15 seasons. He has stated that he feels Kentucky needs a new voice. I agree. So Kentucky is looking to find a new coach. I know they are talking to Billy Donovan, who used to be the head coach at Florida. But he's saying, I'm committed to the Bulls. So it's going to be interesting to see what we see, and on that note, again, I appreciate you all. Please follow, subscribe, help us continue to share, do everything you can. We are going to be going into, baseball is here. We have basketball also. And the good thing, the NFL draft, ladies and gentlemen, we are 2 weeks away, effective on Thursday. So again, I appreciate y'all. I hope you all have a good evening. You all be safe. And I'm glad you all, have a blessed day. So appreciate, and we will catch you all later and see you on the next show.
Peace.